So, Joe Biden announcing that he is going to send long range missiles that are already being used in Ukraine to attack Russia, escalating tensions. Now, Vladimir Putin has announced that he's escalating his nuclear arsenal. There's a potentiality to nuclear warfare, which we've warned about, which we've been discussing endlessly about the situation since I knew about the tensions going on with Ukraine and Russia, how this was a proxy war, how this started way before February, and it just looks doom and gloom, folks. There's no way to really, no really real way to make this an opportunic moment. But here, as the New York Post even puts it, Biden lets Ukraine use U.S. long range missiles to hit deep inside Russia just weeks before Trump takes office. So that's kind of the giveaway right there. Just the headline there. That's kind of the giveaway right there. Why did he wait till after the election to allow Ukraine to finally attack Russia? Because their whole proposal the last 4 years was anything for Ukraine, anything to stop Putin, anything to stop Russia. But now, since they knew that they have lost their election and they know that Trump's going to get a second term, and Trump has stated numerous times in his campaign that he's going to draw back the aggression with Ukraine and Russia. He's going to hopefully end this war. That was his campaign promise. That was the mandate that he ran on. A lot of people ran towards him for that. He's going to allow this to happen because he only has a few weeks left, and they want the warfare. They want the warfare, and so do a lot of other people. And as Thomas Massie points out, Thomas Massie, who is the representative for I think Kentucky, he's a great person. He's a great person. He's been calling this out. I don't consider him like a saint because he's not exactly like a fierce progressive, but he's at least calling this out, and I admire someone like him. Thomas Massie says, by authorizing long-range missiles to strike inside Russia, Biden is committing an unconstitutional act of war that endangers the lives of all U.S. citizens. This is an impeachable offense, but the reality is he's an emasculated puppet of the deep state. I mean, that is an absolutely great point there. That if we want to talk about felony, if we want to talk about criminal, if we want to talk about impeachment, as many people have yelled at me about Trump, how this guy has been impeached multiple times, how he's a convicted felon, how he's a rapist. How can you defend someone like that? First of all, I'm not defending Trump by doing this. I'm not defending Trump in any means. I'm just saying that we have to look at the aspects of a Trump incoming presidency, just like we did in 2016, just like we did beforehand. You know, I'm no fan of Trump whatsoever, but I have to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of the incoming new president. This, however, would be actually an impeachable offense. Not the made-up ones, not the fabricated ones they did against Trump. Not the ones that they tried to charge him because he wouldn't send weapons to Ukraine. That was one of the impeachments. They tried to impeach him for not escalating the warfare, for not escalating the tensions in Eastern Europe. But Biden actually gets us into nuclear warfare? Not a damn word. Not a damn word. Hopefully people would see this. Hopefully people realize that, yeah, this would be an impeachable offense. That Biden just allowed basically World War III to exist, the possibility to exist. And no Congress support, no public support, nobody voted on this. It just happened. And as he's leaving office, might I add. And this is just absolutely crazy, folks. This is how I know this is not, some hyperbole, because media outlets across the world are even discussing this. And you would think if it was no big deal that, even the legacy media that are propagandized to war, that they'd be trying to downlight this, but they're not. They're escalating this. Here's CNN World. Stockpile diapers, medication, baby food. NATO members Sweden and Finland advise citizens on how to survive war. The unthinkable, what nuclear war in Europe would look like. That's from a place called Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. Even the Toronto Star. Nuclear war would turn Canada into one of the worst places on the planet. And scientists fear we are inching closer. And the byline says underneath it, the resulting nuclear winter could kill off 95 to 100% of the population. But the optimistic side is, I guess we'll finally get some good parking at Yonge and Dundas Square, right? That's the positive side of it. That's the silver lining, folks. Toronto, you're going to actually get good parking, and you might not even have to pay for it. So there's a win-win. There's a great idea. Thank you, President Biden. Thank you, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Because of nuclear warfare, I could take my bucket of metal that's going to be blasted and melted to shreds, and if I still survive a nuclear catastrophe, which we don't have any repercussions to protect ourselves with, we don't have bunkers, we don't have shelters, there's no infrastructure in the case of this. If I survive it, well, I guess, I don't have to pay for parking. I guess movie theaters won't be crammed. I get more space. Yay. Here's the BBC again. Russia's nuclear rhetoric won't dent UK support for Ukraine, says the Prime Minister. And I just like to add on to that, because I think that's a little misleading for the headline there. I think it's Russia's nuclear rhetoric won't dent UK agencies' support for Ukraine. Because the UK people, much like here in Canada, much like the United States, didn't want this war. Didn't ask for this war. Don't want to have more wars. Like, we have had nonstop war since I've been on this earth. Since 1995. Since then, I have constantly seen war after war after war, whether it's Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Latin American countries. They want to start a civil war in Haiti on top of this. On top of Israel-Palestine, on top of the genocide that's happening right now, on top of putting tensions onto China. They are absolutely barbarically insane on the amount of warfare they're putting across the entire globe at this point. And it is just losing touch with people because they see the catastrophic damages. They have had loved ones. They have had people that served in the military. They know the damages. They know how people are suffering. Veterans are suffering on the streets. So why would we put ourselves in further danger? Why would we jeopardize ourselves, subjugate ourselves to further damage, to further escalation that doesn't even really affect us? Doesn't really affect us. We're not defending our security. We're not defending any national means. This is just, again, more business as usual, more warfare as usual, and we are just the ultimate sacrifice. We are the players in this drenched video game of risk that people like Steimer, is it Steimer or Stamer, of the Prime Minister of UK, or Trudeau or Biden, just abusing and using these people, and there are no winners. There are no winners. Everybody pretty much loses when it comes to war. They don't want to see their kids fly off and possibly, God knows what happens to them. Here's even this. This is Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau, Mr. Drama Teacher, Mr. Leader of the, Peacekeeping Canada. At least that's what I thought. Trudeau says today Canada fully supports Ukraine's use of long-range weaponry to strike into Russia. Anyone with common sense realizes this will escalate quickly into a total nuclear war. Justin Trudeau is openly supporting starting World War III. So it looks like all the NATO mafia allies, the sociopathic, I don't know if it's arrogance or just ignorance. I know there's narcissism. These people are grinning and championing for total self-destruction. Like, literally, this is a suicide run at this point. This is like those cults you've heard about in the 70s where there's, I forget the guy's name, there's a pastor that takes people to an island, and once this pastor is caught by the feds cultivating people, how they're charging him with conspiring and abusing these people, he orders them to just self-delete. And that's what's happening right now. They're just now telling people that we're going to go forward with this, that we are going to completely get ourselves in a possibility of total annihilation, and you just have to deal with it. You just have to deal with it. Because they're not fighting the war. They don't have boots on the ground. Their kids are not suffering. They're living the glamorous life. Justin Trudeau goes to many movies about Barbie with his kids. He's not worried about war. He's not worried about famine. He's not worried about the millions of dead bodies that his administration has caused. He's not worried about that. So, of course, yeah, go right ahead. Go send off weapons of mass destruction with our tax dollars to engage in possible nuclear warfare that could wipe out a population. Go right ahead. Great job for you. Great job for you.